Welcome to Faith and Freedom. For the next few minutes, we hope to inform, inspire, and encourage you as we discuss legal victories and challenges to your fundamental freedom and religious liberties. Faith and Freedom comes to you from Liberty Counsel, a civil liberties education and legal defense organization. Join us now as Matt Staver, founder and chairman of Liberty Counsel, explains the latest legal issues all across this country. In the courtrooms of America, Liberty Counsel is winning the battle for your constitutional freedom.
A liberal congresswoman in California has introduced a resolution that is seeking to endorse SB 1172, the California Change Bill, wanting to bring this to a federal level. Hi, I'm Matt Staver, founder and chairman of Liberty Counsel. Joining me is Matt Barber, vice president of Liberty Counsel Action. This Representative Jackie Speer from San Francisco, California, has introduced a resolution, Matt, that calls on states to prohibit efforts to change a minor's sexual orientation, even if the minor requests it, saying doing so is, quote, dangerous and harmful. Now, this is the bill that's in California, the SB 1172, that we're litigating against. A judge has recently entered an order blocking the enforcement of that law, which was scheduled to take effect on January 1. But this is the absurdity of what these liberals ultimately want to do, is to literally control your mind. They talk about freedom of choice. Well, where's the freedom of choice for a client that's seeking counsel that they want and counsel that actually is benefiting them? These individuals are absolutely radically intolerant.
That's right. And, we've talked about it before, but take the example of the children that were horrifically abused by Jerry Sandusky. Penn State former coach. I have started calling these Sandusky laws because that's what they are. Studies have shown, for instance, the CDC has said that men who are gay identified are, quote, at least 3 times more likely to report childhood sexual abuse at the hands of a homosexual pedophile. The Archives of Sexual Behavior has determined in 2001 that nearly half, Matt, of all gay identified men were molested by a homosexual pedophile. The homosexual pedophilia is also a sexual orientation. Dr. Fred Berlin with Johns Hopkins University, one of the foremost liberal sexologists, if you will, loved by the Keynesian left, has said that homosexual pedophilia is a sexual orientation and that pedophilia itself is a sexual orientation that he calls minor attracted persons in order to try to even make politically correct pedophilia. This law would also protect and say that people who are homosexual pedophiles, or just pedophiles, if you will, say a 17-year-old boy who's attracted to 5-year-old boys, and this law would say you cannot change that attraction, you cannot act, and it's wrong to say that you can't act on that attraction. This is chaos. It's absurd.
It's absurd because these individuals who are wanting to have sex with minors are going to say the same thing, that they have these desires and that is their orientation. Therefore, you can't change that and you can't counsel against it. You can't, if this individual comes in, for example, and says, listen, I'm having these sexual attractions to minors. I've acted on them or I've not acted on them, either way, but I don't want to continue to act on these, or I don't want to act on them. As a counselor in California, you won't be able to tell that individual, it's not right for you to have these sexual urges towards minors. And in fact, you should not act on it because this is harmful. And in fact, it's also illegal. They won't be able to say that. This person that's coming in that actually has these same-sex attractions to minors will be told in California, if this law were to ultimately become effective, don't worry about those. That's just a normal process of human sexuality. It's fine for you to have those sexual attractions towards little boys. In fact, if you've got some problems with that, let's explore that. Maybe it's your religion. We need to change and modify your religious and moral beliefs to match your sexual urges toward these little boys. That's the absurdity of this law, because sexual orientation, that broad term, covers all kinds of variants. Homosexuality, heterosexuality perhaps, but certainly homosexuality, bisexuality, transsexuality, transvestitism, pedophilia, pederasty, all of these just aberrant variations of human sexuality.
Well, it's important to point out too, the messiah of the sexual anarchist left is Alfred Kinsey, who has said that there is no harm for children in having sex with an adult. Our laws throughout the United States, our sex ed programs are based on Kinseyan law. Even the U.S. Department of Education has had information up there saying, using Kinseyan language to say children are sexual from birth. But this re-victimizes, Matt, to children who have been sexually abused by men. I call them Sandusky laws because those kids who were abused by Sandusky, if they go in and now had, as I've just pointed out, science shows conclusively, even the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention acknowledges, and the study in the Archives of Sexual Behavior shows that an astounding number of three times the CDC says of people who self-identify as gay were sexually assaulted by a homosexual pedophile. Almost half of those who identify as gay, according to the Archives of Sexual Behavior, were sexually assaulted by a homosexual pedophile. So people need to understand that stemming from childhood sexual abuse oftentimes, frequently, almost half of the time, derives a gay identity. These children need to know how to deal with that abuse, that sexual abuse, and to now tell them, no, these sexual feelings that you're having because you were sexually abused by a man are normal, natural, and good, and you are gay. To pigeonhole them into a lifestyle of potential disease, depression, alcoholism, and so forth, which we know statistically is
no question. I mean, Liberty Counsel, we've been working with the American Association of Christian Counselors, which is a membership group of 50,000 people, counselors. We represent them in this case against California. NARTH, the National Association for Research and Therapy on Homosexuality. We have national, in fact, worldwide experts that are part of NARTH that do these counseling on a day-to-day basis. We've been involved in this research and study. You've written on this. I've written on this as well. It's very familiar to someone who's actually studied and been around the expertise and the counselors in this area, what the CDC study has said. That's not new information. That is old information. That is just a repeat of what has been out there. It's not like this is a groundbreaking study.
Right.
It is just common knowledge. When you're dealing with the homosexual issue, it is a frequent pattern, particularly with males, that not in every case, but in a very high percentage of cases, 3 times more likely that those males who have identified or those males who have same-sex attractions
were sexually abused
by another man. And so what happens to those individuals is they become confused in their own identity. They've been victimized like a woman would have been raped. These individuals have been victimized. And they begin to have this self-anger, and sometimes to get back and have this feeling of control because they were completely out of control, they reenact the same thing that happened to them. And they begin to have these same-sex sexual attractions. They don't want them. They come to a counselor and says to the counselor, please help me to deal with this, to eliminate those attractions. California says, no, sorry, you're going to have to say that the Jerry Sandusky sexual molestation was normal. Just go with the flow.
Yeah, how dare they, stick themselves because of this radical political ideology, and that's exactly what it is, between counselor and client, between parent and child. Our clients, for instance, Matt, our child clients are benefiting tremendously from the therapy that they're undergoing and will continue to benefit, yet because it doesn't fit their political agenda, because it crushes underfoot that born gay
Well, and they want their cake and eat it too. They want to be able to say that it's fluid.
Yeah, right.
But they also want to say that it's fixed. And they want to do that when somebody who is experiencing those unwanted same-sex attractions, they don't want them to be released from it. They want them to say, no, you got to just stick with it. Bottom line is they want their own behavior to be normalized. And not just normalized, they want everyone to assent to it as good and normal when it is not. Join us at Liberty Counsel. We're fighting this law vigorously to defend counselors, parents, and especially minors in California and around the country with regards to having the freedom to be able to seek the counseling that aligns with their biblical values so they don't act on these same-sex sexual attractions. Many people have changed, they've been benefited, and this law would stop that in a heartbeat. But we're there to defend, and thank you for your prayers and your financial support. Without your prayers and financial support, we wouldn't be able to continue this kind of expensive litigation. And this is just one of many areas that Liberty Counsel is involved with. Go to Liberty Counsel's website, lc.org, or call us, 800-671-1776. Ask for our year-end report. You will be amazed at all the different activities that Liberty Counsel is involved with all over the country. And you're a part of that because of your prayers and financial support. Remember, Liberty Counsel at this time of year with your year-end gifts. You can contribute by going to Liberty Counsel's website, lc.org.
You have been listening to Faith and Freedom with Liberty Counsel. We hope that we have motivated you to stand up for your faith, family, and freedom. We can accomplish a lot when we work together. Get informed and get involved today. Sign up for our free monthly newsletter, The Liberator. We will send it out to you free of charge. Stay informed with our Liberty Alert email updates. Just click on the website at www.lc.org or call us at 1-800-671-1776. Tune in next time to learn more about your rights right here on Faith and Freedom.